Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another bonus episode of Jump Ball. I'm your host for this bonus episode. That means this episode is the rookie year. That is my niche. That is what I am doing for my bonus content. If you're watching on YouTube, you just literally see half of AJ's and Adam's. Actually, you see AJ's full face. He's not doing a very good job. I'm coming up. But Adam's
getting more energized. I'm coming up.
A half facing me right now. Oh, they're slowly rising. AJ,
like a little turtle.
AJ's really going to perk up. Actually, and Adam, too, because we're going to jump into some good stuff here in this bonus episode. But hopefully you tune into the first one. We probably talked about the best rookie ever, and that was Tim Duncan's. And so when we talked about Tim Duncan, in these bonus episodes, okay, it doesn't always have to be a guy who won Rookie of the Year. It doesn't have to be a guy who went in there and got fifth in MVP voting. Because today, we're talking about Clyde Drexler's Rookie Year. So we're going to be talking about the season beforehand, his years in college a little bit, the pre-draft, the 83, and then, of course, his rookie year. So we're going to jump right into it. The 82-83 season, so the year before Clyde is drafted, the Philadelphia 76ers actually win the NBA championship this year. This is with like Moses Malone, Dr. J, Andrew Toney, Maurice Cheeks. Mo Cheeks is on this team. And then that same year, MVP was Moses Malone. So he was the Finals MVP, champion, and the MVP. So pretty good year from Moses, if I don't say so myself. Rookie of the Year of the 82-83 season was Terry Cummins. Listen to this stat line. 24, 11, and 3.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Was that for the Bucks?
Yes, I think so. Because he got drafted by the Bucks. So Terry Cummins is kind of a menace in his rookie year. And so some of the best teams...
do stuff? Do stuff after that?
He kind of...
Cummings?
Terry Cummings was like a really good player who just never... He wasn't like I'm the main guy on a team type of player. Like he was, but he didn't want to be... Like his game was not built for that. So if he would have been paired with somebody like a Clyde Drexler, they would have been a competitor. But he never had very good teammates. And he just jumped around a couple times and...
I stand corrected, too. He was with the San Diego Clippers his rookie year. 2 years there, then he went to Milwaukee.
Sucks.
Yeah, so he was just never really surrounded. Because then he goes to the Spurs for a good while, Seattle, Phoenix, Knicks. Well, not Phoenix, sorry. That's Philly. And then Golden State for his last 2 years. So he kind of popped around there towards the end. But pretty good bucket his rookie year. And then some of the best teams in the league at this point are the Bucks. This is like Sidney Moncrief, Bob Lanier. Celtics, this is like, the classic Larry, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale. Lakers, Kareem and Magic. And then this team is surprisingly really good. And there's only like one notable name that I saw. It was the San Antonio Spurs. This was like the Iceman's George Gervin's led team. Really didn't have much of a surrounding cast. Still managed to win like 50 games that year. So the Iceman was...
Did he have artists?
I don't know. So that would have been... So...
I bet he had artists.
Gilmore, I assume that you're talking about. Because I looked at this roster and I really couldn't find... He had Mike Dunleavy. That's kind of sick. He did have Artis Gilmore. Artis was there. So I guess other than the Mike Dunleavy, George Gervin, Artis Gilmore, it was kind of just the Iceman getting it done. Now, some of the worst teams in the league at this point were the Pacers. They were 20-62. Clark Kellogg, 21 points a game. Other than that, nothing notable from this Pacers team. Very, very bad.
I don't know. Kind of invented Frosted Flakes. Cereal. And that was kind of his whole thing, right? Clark Kellogg.
Yeah,
AJ.
Yeah. Kind of a cereal empire these days. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
It was hard because he was eating breakfast during the games, and they were like, "No, you gotta play."
inventing cereal and dropping 21 points. So.
Okay. All right. Shit.
Dude's kind of a bucket.
Sugary breakfast.
And then World Be Free and the Cavs, 23 and 59 that year. I think World Be Free was dropping like 23 points a game. He was dropping 20-plus points for the Cavs. Then the Houston Rockets were the worst team in the league. 14 wins, led by, Calvin Murphy, Adams guy. And we kind of disregarded Cal.
Yeah, he was my guy until I found out he was not a good person.
Yeah, he's not a great person.
Oh no. I don't
do your own research on Cal Murphy.
Okay, yeah, maybe
if we do that, we're gonna go in the dark hole with Cal. So,
okay.
And then Elvin Hayes is on this team. Actually, the Rockets, 14-year vet at this point, not very good. So those are some of the worst teams in the league, and some of the best, and just kind of where the NBA is at for timeline purposes. Now, the player. The guy we're talking about in this rookie year episode is Clyde Drexler, 6'7", 210 forward out of Houston. He was a part of the popular Phi Slamma Jamma in college. Him and Hakeem mostly getting it done down there. So he declared for the NBA his junior year. He was averaging 16, 9, and 4 as a junior in Houston. His final year in Houston, they made a Final Four appearance where Phi Slamma Jamma matched up against the Doctors of Dunk, which is number 2 Louisville at this time. And
you have the names for Doctors of Dunk?
Of course I do. Dunk. The biggest one is Daryl Griffith. That's the biggest one. Okay. And then it's like Derek Smith, Jerry Eves, I think, and Rodney McCray. Some of those names will come up again later when we talk about the pre-draft process. But Daryl Griffith was the big one. And so that matchup, Phi Slamma Jamma versus the Doctors of Dunk, Phi Slamma Jamma wins. They win 94-81 in that Final Four matchup. And they go on to play the NC Wolfpack with Thurl Bailey as the player. And this is what do you call it? This is a 30 for 30, this finals appearance. The NC Wolfpack made this crazy ride in March Madness. Who's the coach? It's Dickie V? No, not Dickie V.
No, it's Jimmy. Yeah, what's it? Vivano?
Yes, Jimmy Vivano.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy V.
So, yeah, this is this matchup. And so if you know anything about this matchup, it's not going to go well for Houston. But in that game, in that finals, Clyde picked up 4 fouls in the first half. So he failed to make any impact on this game just because he was in foul trouble the entire game. So NC State upset victory over Phi Slamma Jamma in the finals. So kind of wrapping up his junior year when he declared he was first team All-American and Southwestern Conference Player of the Year. So successful college, just never won the ship with him and Hakeem. So the pre-draft process, 1983. So the lottery actually doesn't get implemented till 1985 in the NBA. So this is still just like worst team gets number 1 overall pick. So the lottery comes in 2 years later.
When did they flip a coin? When were they flipping coins?
That was like Kareem, right? Like when they did Explosive Team, that was like Kareem because like it came down to Phoenix and the Bucks, and they did a coin flip who got Kareem, and the Bucks just happened to win that one.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty tense coin flip if that was aired today.
That'd be awesome. They should do that.
The amount of cameras on this coin angles. Flipping in the just.
What if they botched it? What if they absolutely just botched the coin flip? Like the person flipping the coin just like it just fell out of the
coin flips are hard to not like. I would get it, like coins are not the easiest thing to flip and catch. They're weird shape. They don't have any weight to them.
Yeah, let's go. I would easier things to flip.
Heads or tails?
A pen,
bottle,
Just like
He
a
has a
dice. You could roll a dice.
AJ, heads or tails?
It's,
Oh, see, I botched it.
You botched it.
that'd be
and I
so
dropped it
ugly
again.
on television.
It was tails. Oh my god. This is
Yeah, and then at this point, you got to redo it because, you can get a good flip.
Yeah.
It was tails. Tails.
And
never
then do
fails.
you see? Because you did also the flip onto the hand. I feel like that's a controversy because technically the coin landed the other way in your hand, and then you flip it to place it on your hand. So you're making the decision to make it the opposite of what it is.
Listen, I'm just happy we don't do it today.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't mind it. Be okay. Just for a season, just for fun.
So, when the Rockets finished with the worst record in the league, they were on the clock. And if you know anything about 1982-83, Ralph Sampson at Virginia currently, so he was kind of the number one pick lock at this point. So, Houston was on the clock, and the only reason, because there's a lot of guys picked before Clyde. Like Clyde's 14th to the Blazers in this draft. So then the only reason why he fell so much, I couldn't find anything about it, and we'll talk about why I couldn't find anything about it later. But from my own research, it just looked like the NBA at this point, you go for the big guy. This is like pre-Jordan era, so there's not like high-flying type of shooting guards, small forwards, all that stuff. So it's just mainly big guys being picked before him. There's a few like point guards picked before Clyde, but mostly just centers, power forward, just the biggest guys you can find. So I'm chalking that up to why he fell in the draft. I really couldn't find any other reason why Clyde fell so far. But some other notable picks before Clyde. Byron Scott was 4th. Thurl Bailey, who was on that NC State team, was picked 7th. Derek Harper, 11th. And then Clyde, 14th to the Blazers. Now, when I was doing this research, this is when the NBA draft was 10 freaking rounds.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Ridiculous. The amount of people drafted is like you can't put all these people on the roster. You're going to have to cut half your roster for all these picks.
You're literally drafting an entire roster.
Mm-hmm.
When I was researching the Kevin Duckworth Deep Pulls episode, I think he was like around 4 or 5. But the percentage of people that played by that point were crazy small. Most people, they just didn't play at that point.
So in my research, some notable names I found within the 10 rounds. Doc Rivers was taken in the 2nd, and Manute Bol was taken in the 5th. And then just a lot of people I had never heard of drafted in the 10 rounds of the NBA draft. So now the NBA draft is complete. Clyde's 14th to the Blazers. We're going to talk about the team that he's joining and then his rookie year. So, AJ, do you know anything about the 83-84 Blazers?
I don't really know the pieces that were already there when Clyde first showed up. No. I'm thinking they still were bad because they got the first overall pick the following year, 2 years after, right? Because they drafted a good old Sam Bowie.
They had the 2nd pick. They have the second pick next.
Oh, first was Hakeem,
See,
right? Yeah.
But here's my problem. Okay, so the team the year prior, they finished 46-36, so above 500 by 10 games. And some of the guys he's joining is Jim Paxson, who's averaging 21 points. Calvin Nat, Michael Thompson. I think that's Clay's dad, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Fat Lever is on this team, and good old Jeff Lamp.
Jeff Lamp, baby, the Lamp Man.
That would get a rise out of you too.
Someone turn on the lamp? Damn.
Yeah, fired up. No overheads. Only lamps.
No shades. We want to see the lamp.
No shades, just lamps.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know Jeff Lamp played with Clyde Drexler. Damn, that's awesome.
His legend continues to grow.
It does.
But so anyway, this team, then he basically all those pieces are still there. Like the ones we just talked about. So Clyde's rookie year, he really didn't start. Oh, he didn't start. I think he came off the bench. His rookie splits 7-3-2. So nothing, honestly, to write home about. And this year, the Blazers lose to the Suns in the first round. They lose 3-2 in that matchup. And we talked last time about how Tim Duncan and Keith Van Horn were the only 2 finalists for Rookie of the Year. Well, they just decided no one else is going to be a finalist. Ralph just won all 76 votes for Rookie of the Year. So Clyde was kind of a non-factor his rookie year. Eventually, they turned the keys over to him, as we know. He takes him to the finals and the whole Jordan thing. And now, with the Jordan thing, why I couldn't find anything about his pre-draft process, because everything was focused on, like, they didn't take Jordan because they had him.
Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, a lot of...
Tough.
Yeah, real tough. And then they end up taking Sam Bowie at number 2 overall. But see, that year, Clyde's year, the Blazers finished 48-34. So they were good. And there's still no lottery implemented.
Was it a traded pick? Did they own someone else's pick?
They had to. I couldn't. Yeah.
They had somebody's pick.
Because they finished really good. Just imagine you get that 48-34 team, then you add Michael Jordan to that team. Which, who knows if Michael Jordan pans out.
You could have added a lot. You could have added Stockton. Could have added Barkley.
Sam Bowie.
Yeah, you got Bowie, though.
Yeah, Bowie worked out really great.
Needed a big guy.
And
okay.
Yeah. I mean, they drafted one.
Blazers draft history, Blazers draft history is no good.
No.
Missed Kevin Durant. Missed KD and MJ.
But I think you guys hit on Scoot. A little too early to tell. I like Scoot better than Brandon Miller.
Those levels.
Well,
back in the day, I really thought you guys hit with Greg Oden. I couldn't believe it was even a discussion. I was like, obviously, it's Oden.
Like, you were an Oden guy. Yeah, you would be an Oden guy.
I started young, like in the big fellas.
When he played and he wasn't injured, it wasn't like he was bad by any means at first. He was just getting injured all the time. Like, he was good. Then Brandon Roy, that was going to be cool.
Oh, Brandon Roy. What could have been there? Also, so apparently, like, how they got that pick, the Sam Bowie pick, the Houston Rockets won the coin flip and rewarded the first overall pick, while the Portland Trailblazers, who obtained the Pacers' first round pick in a trade, were rewarded the second pick.
Oh, man.
So you're telling me, they could have had Hakeem if they just won a coin flip. It could have been Hakeem and Clyde reunited in Portland if they just would have won a coin flip.
Yeah, but also
the coin flip.
But but also it worked out well that Hakeem got to stay in Houston, you know.
Oh, yeah. But like Houston had a number 1 overall pick and they passed on Clyde the year before. They could have had Clyde. They could have had the whole kid.
Ralph was really good too.
Well, I understand Ralph is really good.
Shout out Ralph. Shout out Ralphie.
Shout out Ralph.
Yeah, remember when he was on the podcast?
No.
Yeah, that was actually kind of nuts.
I bought a cameo and Ralph Sampson asked you a question.
I forgot about that.
God, I buy him a signed Hidu Turkoglu picture. He doesn't even know who it is. I buy him a Ralph Sampson cameo and he forgets about it.
You bought a lot of cameos.
Some friend this guy is.
You bought a lot of cameos for that episode. The Glenn Rice
one? I spent a lot of money on that.
Not Glenn Rice. Glenn Robinson.
I didn't get any of it back.
Hey,
I thought that one was going to go viral and really hit the numbers, but...
Swing and a miss.
It will later. It's going to later. Years down the line, that's going to pop.
For sure.
Third, hell yeah, it's popping.
For sure. Also, you're not thinking about how the Pacers could have gotten Hakeem. I mean, imagine the Hakeem Clark Kellogg duo if they just didn't trade.
They didn't trade for the pick.
even better, the Clark Kellogg Sam Bowie duo.
Why?
You ever thought about that?
I actually
I've
haven't,
never
and I
thought
will
about that.
continue not to ever think about that again because Sam
that's
Bowie
trying.
barely plays.
That's
trying to think
two
about
really solid 9 and 6 guys. You know,
Hell-
every team
hell
needs
yeah.
2 of those.
Yep. Well, Sam Bowie might have not broken his legs if he had a better breakfast every day.
Yes.
I like
See,
yeah, like
broken his legs.
He would have
a
like
high
Raisin Bran.
potassium, high calcium cereal.
I'm thinking about it.
Whatever.
Yeah, that could have really changed things.
And Blazers could have just had Clyde. I mean, I guess they did just have Clyde. They
But-
drafted Sam. they did just have Clyde. So it
And,
really
like,
didn't matter. They could have
Mike-
just not picked.
Michael to like, and like some other stuff came up during this research, like the Olympic team. Like Michael just bullied Clyde. Like I think
Oh,
at
yeah,
one practice he bullied, like he basically just like kept coming after him to the point where Clyde just left practice.
Michael wasn't a nice guy.
No, not really. Because like
So they were
when the media will start
they were
comparing
being-
people.
right. Yeah, they were comparing them constantly. And then there's a story that I think it was Magic approached Michael after a practice and was like, "Hey, leave Clyde alone. Oh my God, stop picking on him, attacking him basically in practice."
Yeah.
And wasn't that the whole thing with the shrug game when they like the media narrative was like, oh, it's Michael Jordan versus Clyde, but Clyde is a better 3-point shooter, so he could have the advantage here. And then Michael went like 6 for 8 on threes in the first half and gave him like a, well, I guess he's a better shooter, but
That was a fun Blazers era, but we're
really,
close.
really botched it.
Quite get there.
So close every
We're
time.
close.
Just
one could argue it's the only fun Blazers era.
the
Bill was cool.
Jailblazers.
Bill Walton was cool.
Bill was cool. Blazers weren't. I don't know if they were fun.
I mean,
We're constantly having problems with the law.
entertaining to the outside eye.
Maybe, I guess.
I mean, maybe not fun for you as a Blazers fan, but
Dame-
entertaining.
Dame era, specifically 2019, was fun. Most other years were frustrating, yes.
Well, AJ, Dame's not the greatest Blazer ever, correct?
I've thought about this, and I agree with Adam's points. Yes, so I don't think Dame's the greatest.
It's gotta
Can't
go,
be the greatest.
It's got to go Bill.
He has the most points, but Bill has the championship, and Clyde brought him to the finals twice. And then close, I think, another time or two. Brought him to a conference finals once.
Yeah, Dame can't be the greatest. Glad we're in agreement on that. But
Yeah, I don't think you can.
no, he can't. He just
Been around a
can't.
long time.
Yeah. Now he's running from the grind, trying to get to Miami.
I understand. And then Clyde.
He's trying to rile you up, and you just go, I understand.
I've listened to enough podcasts now. I really thought about it. I'm like, yeah, okay, fuck it. I get it. But it's what happened with Clyde too. I think he just kept running into the wall, and then eventually wanted to kind of
Force his way out and go to Houston with
bigger
Hakeem.
market. Yeah, go to Hakeem, win the ring.
Just
So,
happens, man.
Fun runs, but no finish lines.
Absolutely none. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to another bonus episode of Jump Ball. Make sure if you're not subscribed, do so on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. 5-star rating would be awesome to defeat the YouTube, or I guess defeat the algorithm. And other than that,
Beat the algorithm.
we got to defeat the algorithm. That's what we got to do. That's our mindset now. That's what Dame never had. Dame never had a mindset.
Okay. All right.
Oh, there's something. Until next week, guys. We're signing off.